Every January 24th is the International Day of Education in celebration of the role of education in the society. This year's event, under the theme Recover and Revitalize Education for the COVID-19 Generation, focuses on education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the United Nations, without inclusive and equitable quality education, countries will not succeed in achieving gender equality and breaking the cycle of poverty that is leading millions of children, youths and adults to poverty. Simisola Adigun has more in this next report.
The right to education is recognized as a necessity for all, as reflected in a number of international laws. In Nigeria, Western education is sadly losing its relevance, given the current lackadaisical approach of the government in recent times, thereby plunging it into an assorted crisis of infrastructural decay, neglect, waste of resources and sordid conditions of service. The situation is made worse by the recurrent tussle between ASU, NASU and the federal government. University students are left to suffer the consequences caused by unending strike actions, forcing them to stay at home, most times indefinitely.
Most of the students will be out there. You understand? What will I see? Most of the students who they cannot compete with other students, foreign students. As you can see, the calendar, it has affected the calendar and so on. Students are left at home doing nothing. I mean, it exposes students. So many people, and I mean, you can see young people going up and down, I mean, sitting at home idle, and they can be vices for any bad thing. So.
A recent U.S. Census Bureau report shows that Nigerian students are some of the well-educated and best students in the U.S. This indeed indicates that under a conducive learning environment, devoid of academic disruptions and harassment, a Nigerian student can perform excellently. Nigerian educators also face the brunt of the nation's poor education system. From poor remuneration to poor infrastructure, these mind molders have a lot to contend with.
Motivation for teachers, serious incentives, so that best brain can be attracted into the job. Admission quota also need to be worked upon. It must be at par with all other professionals. There is need for governments to have holistic approach whereby they should convey a stakeholders conference like the one they did in 2015 in Abuja, when National Economic Summit Group recommended that if the education of Nigeria is going to develop, there is need for the government of the federation and the states to invest heavily on teachers.
Again, the number of the nation's out-of-school children is both disturbing and alarming. Recent findings show that the country has over 10 million out-of-school children, the highest in the world. Another 27 million children in school are performing very poorly. For children lucky to receive an education, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and its peculiar preventive measures of social distancing and lockdowns necessitated a new normal of online learning, which Nigeria's education sector isn't prepared for, thus exposing the technological gaps that has had huge impact of the advancement of the nation's learning system. Solutions to these issues are abound, and as an educator has said, the solutions are embedded in the problems.
As education is the bedrock of every prosperous country, Africa's most populous nation must stop paying lip service to its national policy on education and begin strategic implementation to birth a generation of sound young Nigerians. Simisola Adigun, TV 360, Lagos.